Hi everyone, thank you for being here. A lot in the news this week around the economy and the labor market. We're going to break down what all of it means and how it impacts you. First things first, for those of us who have been screaming that we are in a recession and that inflation is not going away as quickly as they'd like us to believe, we have unfortunately once again been proven correct. Yesterday from Barron's, U.S. manufacturing slump extends into August. The U.S. manufacturing sector has contracted for a fifth month in a row. Why does this matter? Why is this important? Well, in case you didn't know, the U.S. manufacturing sector makes up 10% of the U.S. economy and historically has been a good indicator of what's going on with businesses and production here in the U.S. Anything that's underneath 50 points is considered, again, contractionary. Anything over is expansionary. And we again came in at 47.2%. Now, this article says that the reason why things are slow is that companies are showing an unwillingness to invest in capital and inventory due to current federal monetary policy and election uncertainty. Now, I don't know about you, but I wasn't so convinced that we can just pin it all on rates in November, because I think you and I both know that there's another reason that companies are concerned and that they're not wanting to spend unnecessary capital and invest right now. And that is because the state of the economy is not great. And before someone comes for me and says, you have no idea what you're talking about, we're not in a recession. A recession is when the GDP, blah, blah, blah. Yes, I understand the technical definition of a recession, but here's the thing. We are spending like we are in one or like we're coming out of one. I mean, of course, when you have such a high deficit, it's no wonder that you're going to see some GDP rebounding, but it's not from actual production, actual growth. Let's dig in a little bit deeper and see what I found next. U.S. manufacturing mired in weakness, construction spending falls. Now, this one was interesting to me, construction spending. So, part of the reason why construction spending falls is because prices are rising. So it says here, despite weak demand, manufacturers faced higher prices for inputs. So that same survey also measured the prices paid by manufacturers, and it increased from 52.9% to 54%. So raw material prices increased for the 8th straight month. So prices are going up, but we have demand going down. What does that usually leave us with? Well, typically, we can assume that that's going to be layoffs, that there's going to be less jobs in this sector. And once again, this is going to have a ripple effect. We could see this impacting all kinds of different sectors. And it's clear that it just goes to show that everything is not so clean cut as they might like us to think. And I mean, honestly, it makes sense with what we just saw come out with U.S. jobs. So again, this week was big for data. U.S. job openings declined the lowest level since January 2021. So we have this chart. I want to put it up on the screen. If we look at this chart here, we can see the level of job openings. I mean, this is coming from like March of 2+ years ago. We just see this continual decline here of U.S. job openings. And I read a lot online about people who are applying for these jobs that don't exist. So, I mean, once again, I think we both know, how accurate is this data? Is it even worse than what they're saying? But if we go just off of what they're saying, U.S. job openings are dropping. Then we have down below the level of layoffs, which is rising in the last quarter. We see it go boop, right up. So we have layoffs on the rise, we have less job opportunities, less job openings, and then we have a situation where we have different sectors contracting. I mean, I just read another article this week saying that most of the hiring that's happening, most of the job creation that's happening right now is government dependent, which again goes back to what I was saying about the deficit spending and how we are living in an economy that is being propped up artificially by our government. But the reality is that if that helping hand ever disappeared, if anything ever went wrong, if this help stops, I mean, we know what's coming. We know what's coming. You cannot put it off forever. This is bad news. And again, all of the warning signs are here. It does not take a genius to put the pieces together and realize what's going on. And I think that's why so many of us understand that what the mainstream media is trying to tell us isn't correct. It's not accurate. This article, again, from Bloomberg, continues to go on. It says, after July's disappointing job figures and a large downward revision to payrolls last year, I don't know if you remember that, over 800,000 jobs disappeared. They never existed. Quite the overstatement. The last time it was overstated by that much, I believe, was in the 2008 Great Recession. Anyway, it says here, forecasters see a modest pace of hiring and the unemployment rate dropping. I don't know who these forecasters are or where they're seeing this vision coming in, but a modest pace of hiring, either they're just making that up, or by modest, they mean slowing, and the unemployment rate dropping. How is that possible if we have layoffs going up, and again, we have less job opportunities for people? This does not make sense to me. And I think once again, we are stuck in the situation where they are trying to make us feel safe and secure because they do not want people to panic. But the reality is that if you dig even just a little bit beneath the surface, we all understand that we are sitting on a razor's edge. Things are not secure. And that is once again why it is so important to make sure that you are not putting all of your eggs in this basket in the system, that you are not just looking at the stock market and saying, well, things seem to have been going pretty well. I think things will just go up forever. It must mean the economy is doing well. No, the foundation itself is cracking and crumbling. So again, the only reason that I sleep well at night is because I know that with a foundation that's cracking and crumbling like this, I don't have everything stacked on top of it. I make sure that I'm protected outside of the system with physical gold and silver, because personally, that's what makes me feel secure, because I know it's not reliant on all of this noise, on one of these things falling apart. Again, that's my wish for everyone, is to make sure that we all have that same sense of security before something happens. Because how long can this go on? It can't go on forever. They cannot extend and pretend and prop up forever. We both know that. Anyway, I'm sure that there's going to be a lot more information coming out over the next couple weeks. It never disappoints what we're seeing as the headline versus what we see when we dig in a little bit deeper. I will continue to bring you this information. Let me know your thoughts below too. If you have any questions, anything that you think about this. I mean, do you agree? Do you think that things are actually worse than they're saying? Let me know your thoughts below. I love reading your comments. And as always, I'm Taylor Kenny with ITM Trading, your trusted source for all things gold, silver, and lifelong wealth protection. Until next time.